Actually, I could just start off with this one. I've got something fantastic. More fun than a barrel of monkeys. Let's see. Essentially, a book about how he came to be such a weird guy. Is this hard to photograph? By now, everybody's read the first two Stieg Larsson books. Extraordinary Swedish crime fiction. If any of you are worried that Volume 3 is just going to be a lot of tying off of loose ends, no. It's going to be better. It's going to add new subplots. It's going to knock you out. It's a thoroughly delicious trilogy, and every one of them works. A fantastic book from Viking by Dermot McCullough, who wrote the wonderful book about the Restoration that theological scholars have been talking about. This is his book. It's an easy topic. Christianity, the first 3,000 years, 1,200 pages. I believe that every church library needs to have this book. It talks about aspects of Christianity that usually don't get any ink. It talks about, for example, the Coptic Christians of Egypt, the many kinds of Eastern Orthodox Christians. The guy is just a really good writer, and he doesn't want to leave anything out. And he's one of England's grand theologians. My favorite novel this year so far is Peter Carey's Parrot and Olivier, a picaresque novel set in American history, the 19th century, and based roughly on the life of Alexis de Tocqueville, or at least his time in America. It's very, very funny. He has a best friend who is very working class, unlike Tocqueville or Olivier de Gramont, who is extremely upper class. But the working class guys in America, because Olivier de Gramont is here, but we are not quite sure at the beginning. And I'm not going to tell you anything about that. That's going to ruin it for you. But they like each other and they hate each other, and they end up quite good pals, and it's just a delicious piece of fiction. Oh! One more. I was looking for John Waters' Role Models, which is pretty much what it is. These are the people who made John Waters one of America's marvelous strange people and one of America's kindest. Johnny Mathis is one of them, and he writes a beautiful essay on Johnny Mathis, a long set piece that ends up with a gay man wondering why straight people ever liked Johnny Mathis, and his knowledge that straight people often wonder why any gay people like Johnny Mathis, because they don't necessarily think of him as gay. Their gaydar is off. A lot of his experience and a lot of his role models came from hanging out at gay bars in Baltimore, meeting the strangest human beings you can imagine. And these, of course, became the characters that he put in his movies. And if you love those movies, getting the backstory on it is just marvelous fun. There's a story about him taking a Little Richard's hit, Lucille, into his grandmother's house and putting it on as loud as he could and making his grandmother nearly go mad at the thought that there was a Negro screaming in her living room. And they were very conservative, lower middle class Baltimoreans. And the book, you just can't get out of it. You just got to read it all the way through. What it also makes you wonder, which is very interesting, is why hasn't he had a TV talk show? He is the most charming, the funniest, the most loving in many ways. If he brings a weird person on there, that person's going to get the kind of attention that nobody else is going to give him. And John Waters is always thinking, I'm just as weird as you, and this is great.